What happens when one of Hollywood's favorite faces suddenly disappears? Steve Guttenberg, the ultimate nice guy of the 80s. The man behind Police Academy, Short Circuit, Three Men and a Baby. The guy everyone loved. He was charming, funny, unstoppable, until he made one decision that changed everything. Almost overnight, the calls stopped. The lights went out. And Hollywood, the same town that once adored him, turned its back. So what really happened? Was Steve Guttenberg banned for breaking an unwritten rule? Or did he walk away before the machine could chew him up? Because here's the truth. Fame in Hollywood has an expiration date. And when it hits, even the nicest guy in the room can find himself erased. Before Hollywood ever knew his name, Steve Guttenberg was just a kid from Brooklyn with a dream and a borrowed suitcase. Born in 1958, he didn't grow up around movie stars, just hard-working parents and that restless feeling that he was meant for something bigger. In high school, a drama teacher named Mr. Kirby changed everything. He saw talent in Steve that no one else did and pushed him to chase it. Years later, Guttenberg would even name his production company after him. He packed his bags, flew to Los Angeles, and like every hungry actor in the late 70s, he hit the grind. Auditions, commercials, anything that paid. He even landed an uncredited role in Roller Coaster and a starring part in the Chicken Chronicles. Then came Diner in 1982. Critics loved it. They said it felt so real it was like the actors weren't acting at all. And that was Guttenberg's magic. Natural charm, effortless humor, and a smile that made people trust him instantly. A few years later, that same charm exploded onto the big screen in Police Academy. The movie was a low-budget gamble, but it became a box office monster, earning nearly $150 million worldwide. And suddenly, Steve Guttenberg wasn't just another actor, he was the face of 80s comedy. From Cocoon to Short Circuit to Three Men and a Baby, every studio wanted his name on the poster. Audiences saw him as the lovable, good-hearted guy who always found himself in crazy situations, but somehow made everything work. By the mid-80s, he was everywhere. The box office numbers were huge, the fan base was loyal, and Steve Guttenberg looked unstoppable. But here's where the story starts to turn, because behind the smiles and success, he was about to make a decision that Hollywood never forgave.
Hollywood has a short memory. 1 minute, you're the face on every poster. The next, they're pretending they never knew you. And for Steve Guttenberg, that's exactly what happened. By the early 90s, his nice guy charm, the same quality that made him a star, suddenly felt old-fashioned. The industry had shifted. Studios wanted edgier heroes, grittier stories, and darker tones. The days of the fun, shirt-off, light-hearted leading man were over. Audiences wanted Bruce Willis, Tom Cruise, Mel Gibson, danger, intensity, and cool swagger. Steve Guttenberg didn't fit that mold, and Hollywood didn't know what to do with someone who wasn't trying to reinvent himself every 2 years. He once joked, "When you stop winning, they send you to the glue factory." And that line, as funny as it sounds, was painfully true. He went from headlining box office hits to smaller TV roles and direct-to-video projects. But here's the thing. He didn't complain. He just kept working, quietly, steadily. The irony, while other stars from that era crashed under fame or scandal, Guttenberg stayed clean. No controversies, no meltdowns. Just an actor who loved what he did, even if the world stopped watching. But Hollywood doesn't value steady. It values spectacle. And when you're not breaking headlines, you disappear. That's the cruel rule of fame. Once the industry moves on, It rarely looks back. But the story doesn't end with fading fame, because what happened next proved that Guttenberg's disappearance wasn't just Hollywood forgetting him. It was something deeper.
People like to say Steve Guttenberg disappeared because he made one decision, but that's only part of the story. In truth, his downfall was a slow fade, a mix of timing, typecasting, and Hollywood's obsession with the next big thing. After 3 Men and a Baby and Short Circuit, studios only saw him as the goofy, lovable, nice guy. And that's great, until you want to play anything else. Guttenberg tried to break out. He did thrillers like The Bedroom Window and fantasy comedies like High Spirits, but audiences didn't buy it. They wanted Mahoney from Police Academy, not a serious leading man. That's the curse of success. When you do something too well, Hollywood locks you inside it. And then came the box office bombs. Movies like Bad Medicine and Don't Tell Her It's Me barely made a dent. To executives, that was proof he was done. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, Guttenberg was changing too. He'd seen what fame did to people, the burnout, the addictions, the mental toll. He wanted no part of it. He once admitted that he deliberately kept his distance from the wild party culture that defined the 80s. While others chased excess, he chased sanity. But here's the paradox. By staying clean, quiet, and focused, he actually made himself less interesting to Hollywood. No scandals, no headlines, no chaos to sell. And in a business built on drama, no drama can be a death sentence. So between being typecast, playing it safe, and choosing a quieter path, the legend of Steve Guttenberg slowly faded. But fans started whispering a new theory. Maybe he didn't just fade away. Maybe he was pushed away. Because what came next made everyone wonder, was Steve Guttenberg quietly banned from Hollywood?
Now let's get one thing straight. Steve Guttenberg was never officially banned from Hollywood. No blacklist, no scandal, no secret feud with some studio boss. The truth is simpler, and in some ways even sadder. He didn't do anything wrong. He just stopped fitting the mold. Hollywood doesn't literally ban people, it just forgets them. The roles stop coming, the meetings dry up, and soon you're invisible. And because Guttenberg disappeared so suddenly, fans filled in the blanks. Rumors spread that he'd been pushed out, silenced, or blacklisted after saying no to powerful people. But in reality, he made a personal choice. He wanted creative control. He shifted to smaller films, TV shows, and stage performances. He even directed and produced under his own banner, Mr. Kirby Productions, named after his old drama teacher. He stayed active, just not in the Hollywood people were watching. From TV movies like Tower of Terror to indie comedies and Hallmark films, he never stopped working, he just stopped chasing fame. And when asked about his so-called disappearance, he laughed it off. He said Hollywood was fickle. One day you're hot, the next day you're history. But he never seemed bitter. No long interviews blaming anyone, no tell-all books exposing secrets, just quiet acceptance that his time at the top had come and gone. Still, the myth of being banned stuck because audiences couldn't believe someone would choose to walk away from that kind of fame. But Guttenberg's story proves that sometimes walking away isn't a fall, it's freedom. And while Hollywood forgot him, the fans never really did, because soon, nostalgia would bring the Goot right back into the conversation.
You know what's funny? For a guy Hollywood forgot, Steve Guttenberg never really left pop culture. Even after the camera stopped flashing, his name kept popping up. Sitcom cameos, guest roles, even The Simpsons made fun of how unlikely a superstar he was. That's when you know you've made it, when you're part of the joke and the legacy. His movies still play on cable every weekend. Police Academy, Cocoon, Short Circuit, Three Men and a Baby. Those films define the 80s, the kind of movies people watch when they want to feel good again. And maybe that's the real reason Guttenberg mattered. He made audiences feel safe, happy, connected. In a time of Cold War tension and materialism, he was warmth in human form. He said it himself. He feels lucky just to have been part of people's lives in that way. No bitterness, no envy, just gratitude. And who knows, with reboots and nostalgia everywhere, there's talk of a Three Men and a Baby sequel, Three Men and a Bride. That's Hollywood's way of saying, hey, maybe we were wrong to let him go. But Guttenberg doesn't seem to need the validation. He's happily married, active in charities, and still working on smaller projects that inspire him. He never turned bitter, never lashed out, never lost himself to fame. In a town built on ego, that's a rare kind of victory. And maybe that's what we lost when Hollywood moved on. Actors who were real, kind, and human. Because when Steve Guttenberg stepped away, he didn't just leave a career behind. He left behind an era.
So, was Steve Guttenberg banned from Hollywood? Not really. He just made a choice most people in that world never dared to make, to step back while he still had control. He didn't crash, he didn't fade from scandal, and he didn't chase relevance. He simply moved on, quietly, gracefully, like the nice guy he always was. Hollywood moved on without him, but maybe that's okay. Because in a town that burns through people faster than film reels, Steve Guttenberg walked away with something far more valuable than fame: peace. He's proof that success isn't about staying on top forever. It's about knowing when you've given the world enough. From Police Academy to Three Men and a Baby, he gave us laughter, heart, and that easygoing charm that only he could pull off. And even though Hollywood forgot, we didn't. Because legends don't need a comeback. They just need to be remembered. If you grew up with Steve Guttenberg's movies, or if this story brought back a little 80s magic, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Retro Celeb Talk for more forgotten Hollywood stories, the ones the spotlight left behind but will never stop celebrating. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep those memories rolling.